What if I told you that thousands of people from some of the world's richest and most developed countries are now packing their bags and moving to the Philippines? Why would someone leave a country like Japan, the USA, or even Australia and start a new life here? Is it the warm tropical breeze, the lower cost of living, or something they aren't telling us? But before we dive in, tell me, what is the national fruit of the Philippines? Is it A, mango, B, apple, C, banana? Write the correct answer in the comments box below. Let me see how many of you get it right. Also, throughout this video, I want you to think about this. If you could move to any country today, where would you go and why? I'll reveal where most expats from these 10 countries rank the Philippines in their dream destinations. And trust me, the answer will surprise you. Number 1. United States of America. When you think of the United States, the land of skyscrapers, supersized meals, and Netflix binges, it's hard to imagine Americans giving all that up for the Philippines. Yet, surprisingly, that's exactly what's happening. Over 300,000 Americans now call the Philippines home, and this number is steadily rising. Why? The reasons are as vast as the American dream itself. For many, it's the skyrocketing healthcare costs back home, where one ambulance ride can drain your life savings faster than you can say, insurance deductible. In contrast, the Philippines offers affordable medical care, English-speaking doctors, and world-class hospitals, especially in cities like Cebu and Manila, all at a fraction of the cost. For retirees, this is not just an option, it's a no-brainer. After years of stress and work, who wouldn't want to swap hospital bills for hammock naps by the beach? But it's not just the cost that's driving this migration, it's also the lifestyle. Picture this, waking up to the sound of waves, enjoying your morning coffee overlooking crystal clear waters, and spending your days exploring hidden waterfalls instead of checking the stock market's mood swings. Cities like Dumaguete, often nicknamed the City of Gentle People, have become retirement havens for Americans seeking peace, safety, and a sense of belonging. And here's the best part. Thanks to the Philippines' widespread use of English and deep cultural ties with the US, settling down feels less like moving abroad and more like finding a tropical extension of home. Plus, where else can you find locals who love basketball, karaoke, and fried chicken as much as Americans do? Still, here's the kicker, and stay with me because this might surprise you. Many of these American expats confess that once they tasted the simpler, slower life in the Philippines, going back felt impossible. Some even fear the very idea of returning to their 9-to-5 grind or the next political circus back home. Why go back, they say, when I've finally found paradise? But hey, not everything's perfect. They do miss their bacon and cheeseburgers. But trust me, once you've had lechon with crispy skin that crackles like a bag of chips, you'll forget all about those. And who knows? By the end of this video, you might just start Googling how to retire in the Philippines. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning. And wait till you hear which country comes next on this list. Number 2. South Korea. Now let's talk about a country known for K-pop, K-dramas, and skincare routines so intense they make most of us question our entire life choices, South Korea. But behind the glitz and glamour, a growing number of Koreans are quietly setting their sights on the Philippines, not as tourists, but as long-term residents. And why not? With the skyrocketing cost of living in Seoul, where even a tiny apartment can cost you an arm and a leg, literally if you're in Gangnam, it's no surprise they're finding the tropical life here more appealing. Add to that the booming demand for English learning, and the Philippines becomes the perfect escape. Many South Koreans now flock to cities like Cebu, not just for vacations but to open cafes, golf resorts, and English schools, blending business with pleasure. After all, Where else can they sip mango shakes while running a business and improve their English without flying halfway across the world? But here's where it gets even more interesting. What started as short visits for business or education has slowly turned into permanent stays. For many Koreans, the Philippines offers something their fast-paced, high-pressure society doesn't: breathing space. Here, they swap the corporate race for island hopping, trading snow for sunsets. And don't be surprised if you see Korean-owned bakeries, salons, or even samgyeopsal, Korean BBQ, joints popping up next to your local sari-sari store. Yet beneath all this, there's a silent fear growing back in South Korea: rising property prices, declining birth rates, and economic uncertainty. Could it be that the Philippines isn't just their business playground, but might soon become their retirement plan? Stay tuned, because the next country on this list might just shock you. Number 3. Japan. Now let's shift our focus to Japan, the land of bullet trains, sushi, and work culture so intense, it practically invented the word karoshi, which literally means death from overwork. Sounds scary, right? And that's exactly why more and more Japanese citizens, especially retirees, are turning their eyes toward the Philippines. After decades spent in the fast-paced pressure cooker environment of Japan, many simply want to breathe again. And where better to find that peace than in a country where time slows down, smiles are free, and nobody's in a hurry, unless it's a jeepney driver racing the sunset. For many Japanese, cities like Davao, Cebu, and Baguio have become little havens, offering everything they crave: warmer weather, cheaper living costs, and a place where politeness is matched with genuine warmth. Interestingly, while Japan boasts one of the highest life expectancies in the world, many of its seniors are choosing to spend their golden years not in Tokyo's tiny apartments, but right here, surrounded by nature. Some have even said that in the Philippines, they finally learned how to live instead of just survive. Imagine trading a cramped Tokyo apartment for a beach house, where you wake up to the sound of waves instead of the morning rush hour chaos. And guess what? The Japanese aren't just moving here for the scenery, they're investing too. From small businesses to community projects, their presence is growing. But here's something to think about. If the famously disciplined and structured Japanese are willing to leave everything behind for a slower life in the Philippines, what does that really say about what's happening back home? Keep watching, because the next country might just prove that the Philippines is quietly becoming a global escape hatch. Number 4. China. Now let's talk about China, a country known for its booming economy, Great Wall, and population so massive that even their traffic jams could qualify as world records. But what's surprising is that in recent years, a growing number of Chinese nationals have been quietly shifting their focus and their businesses towards the Philippines. And no, it's not just for the beaches. Many are diving headfirst into the booming casino industry, offshore gaming operations, and real estate investments. In cities like Manila, Clark, and even Cebu, Chinese-owned establishments are popping up faster than milk tea shops. Because where there's a chance to make money, you can bet they're already 3 steps ahead. Real estate? Oh, it's hot. Some neighborhoods now see Chinese buyers snapping up condos like they're on a shopping spree, raising both eyebrows and property prices. But it's not all just business. There's a personal side to this migration too. Many Chinese are finding the Philippines appealing for its relaxed lifestyle, tropical weather, and easy access to Southeast Asia's growing markets. After all, it's easier to breathe here when you're not battling Beijing's air pollution every day. However, there's a bit of tension brewing beneath the surface. Some locals fear that the growing Chinese presence, especially in the gaming sector, might bring social problems along with the money. It makes you wonder, how much of this migration is about opportunity and how much is about quietly building influence? Stay with me, because the next country on our list might just raise even more questions, and yes, even bigger surprises. Number 5. United Kingdom. Ah, the United Kingdom. Home to red double-decker buses, endless cups of tea, and weather so gloomy that even the sun files a missing person report. Maybe that's why more and more Brits are swapping their rainy skies for the sunny shores of the Philippines. For thousands of UK citizens, especially retirees, the Philippines is quickly becoming the ultimate escape, offering warmer weather, lower taxes, and healthcare that doesn't require selling your house for a dental checkup. Places like Iloilo, Cebu, and Subic have become favorite landing spots, offering thriving expat communities where the accents are thick, the beer is cheap, and the sunsets, well, those are priceless. And let's be honest, for many British retirees, trading in their gas-guzzling heating systems for a pair of flip-flops is the kind of upgrade they never thought possible. But here's the part that really surprises most people. This isn't just a holiday fling. Many Brits are now investing, buying properties, and building lives here. Some even say the Philippines feels like what England used to be. Tight-knit communities, friendly neighbors, and people who actually have time to talk. Except, of course, here they do it under a mango tree instead of inside a crowded pub. Still, one can't help but wonder. With the rising cost of living and taxes back home, could the Philippines soon see a full-blown British invasion? Only this time, instead of ships and cannons, they're armed with golf clubs and retirement plans. Stick around, because if you think the UK numbers are surprising, wait till you hear who's next on this list. Number 6. Australia. Next up, Australia, the land of kangaroos, barbecues, and people who call everyone mate, even strangers. But what's interesting is that despite their own country being a paradise of beaches and sunshine, a growing number of Aussies are packing their bags and heading north, to the Philippines. Why? Well, it's not just about escaping the sky-high cost of living back home. It's also about proximity, lifestyle, and yes, water sports. For many Aussies, the Philippines feels like a familiar backyard that's just way cheaper. Places like Cebu, Negros, and the islands of the Visayas are becoming popular retirement and vacation spots, offering them world-class diving, surfing, and fishing without the Aussie price tag. And let's not forget, beer is cheaper here too, which for an Aussie is pretty much a national priority. What really draws them, though, is the laid-back lifestyle, something Australians value deeply. But here, it comes with a bonus: warmer waters, lower taxes, and a cost of living so affordable that some say it feels like Australia 50 years ago, when life was simple. And while most come for the ocean, many end up staying for the people. Warm, friendly locals who, let's be honest, share that same love for a good laugh and a cold drink. But here's a little food for thought. If Australians, already blessed with some of the best beaches in the world, are choosing to retire here, what does that say about how fast the Philippines is rising as the new expat haven? Stick around, because the next country on the list may surprise you even more. Number 7. Germany. Now let's head over to Germany, famous for its precision engineering, Oktoberfest, and of course their love for rules. But what happens when the rules, the taxes, and the cold winters start to feel a little too much? Well, a growing number of Germans are finding their way to the Philippines, not just as tourists, but as long-term settlers. And who can blame them? For many, it's the irresistible combination of the tropical climate, the famously friendly locals, and, let's be honest, a tax system that doesn't feel like daylight robbery. You'll find large German communities thriving in Cebu and Negros Occidental, where they've built businesses, invested in real estate, and even opened up cozy little cafes serving bratwurst with a side of halo. Now that's globalization at its finest. But beneath the sunshine and coconut trees, there's a more practical reason pulling them here: the heavy tax burdens back in Germany. For retirees especially, the idea of watching a big chunk of their pension vanish in taxes doesn't sit well. And when they discover they can stretch their euros 3 times further here, moving to the Philippines suddenly feels less like a vacation plan and more like a smart financial move. Many Germans say they come for the weather but stay for the peace. No more icy roads, no more gray skies, just endless summers and warm smiles. But here's the real kicker. If the ultra-organized Germans are willing to trade in their structured lifestyle for island life, it makes you wonder, is there something about the Philippines the rest of the world hasn't fully realized yet? Stay tuned, because the next country might just prove that theory right. Number 8. Canada. Now let's head to the land of maple syrup, polite sorries, and winters so brutal that even the snow gets tired. Canada. While Canada is known for its quality of life, a growing number of Canadians are looking south, way south, to the Philippines. Why? Well, imagine spending half your life digging your car out of snow just to buy milk. Eventually, that ice-cold charm wears off. Many Canadians, especially retirees, are now trading frozen driveways for palm-lined beaches and realizing that snow is much prettier in postcards than on their front porch. The Philippines offers what Canada can't: affordable retirement, endless summers, and a built-in support system through the large Filipino-Canadian community, which makes settling down feel less foreign and more like coming home. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to swap parkas for flip-flops? But here's where it gets even more interesting. Many Canadians aren't just coming for the weather, they're staying for something deeper: love. It's no secret that relationships blossom here, leading some to build entire families, invest in local businesses, and make the Philippines their forever home. And between the lower cost of living and healthcare that won't bankrupt them, many call it the best decision they've ever made. Still, one can't help but wonder if even the famously calm and collected Canadians are running from the cold. How long before their entire retirement dream heads straight to the tropics? Stick around, because the next country might just surprise you even more. Number 9. Saudi Arabia. Now here's a unique twist. Not all who are moving to the Philippines are foreigners chasing beaches and sunsets. Some are actually Filipinos coming back home, with a family, a foreign spouse, or even business partners. After years, sometimes decades, of working as OFWs in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and across the Middle East, many Filipinos are finally deciding it's time to invest in their own homeland. And they're not coming back empty-handed. They're bringing capital, new skills, and even Middle Eastern investors eager to explore business opportunities in the Philippines' growing halal industry. Cities like Zamboanga and parts of Mindanao are now seeing an influx of investments in food processing, tourism, and agriculture, driven by this returning wave. After all, why build someone else's country when it's finally time to build your own? But here's the part most people don't see. Wealthy Arab investors aren't just tagging along for business trips. They're eyeing the Philippines as a fresh market, a peaceful getaway, and even a potential second home. The rich culture, friendly locals, and strategic location make it attractive, especially for those seeking alternatives as the Middle East faces economic diversification challenges. However, this growing influence also raises a curious question. Could the Philippines, known for sending millions of workers abroad, now become the next land of opportunity? It's a fascinating shift, one that might just reshape entire regions. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because the final country on our list might just be the most unexpected of them all. Number 10. Russia. And finally, we head to Russia and Eastern Europe, a region known for its stunning architecture, rich history, and winters so harsh, even the vodka needs a winter coat. But lately, many Russians and Eastern Europeans are setting their sights on a new kind of paradise: the Philippines. Tired of endless snow, political tensions, and rising costs, they're escaping the cold, both literal and figurative, and landing on the sun-soaked islands of Boracay and Palawan. And honestly, who can blame them? For many of them, the Philippines isn't just a tropical escape. It's an affordable paradise where their dollars or rubles stretch further. The sunsets are free, and the only thing frozen is the margarita in their hand. What's interesting is that this migration isn't just seasonal. Many are now settling down, opening businesses, and building quiet communities away from the chaos back home. Some have even joked that in Boracay, you're just as likely to hear Russian as you are English. But behind the laid-back beach life, there's a silent fear. Economic instability back in Eastern Europe is pushing more people to look for safe havens. And the Philippines, with its friendly locals and low cost of living, fits the bill perfectly. It does make you wonder, as the world keeps shifting, is the Philippines quietly turning into the world's next great refuge? Stick around, because what's happening now is just the beginning, and who knows which country might be eyeing these shores next.